Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC Austin, and in the main event, we have an amazing featherweight fight between Calvin Kattar and Josh Emmett, and this is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this fight. There's a bunch of underrated fights on this UFC Austin card. I cannot wait for this card. I'll be live streaming on Saturday this card, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And this is such an important fight for the division. Both guys are in the top 10 of the division, and also if Alexander Volkanovski is able to defeat Max Holloway in the trilogy, the division is wide open. I could totally see the winner of Kattar versus Emmett if they get a big win here, and then Alexander Volkanovski goes out at UFC 276 and beats Max Holloway. I could totally see the winner of this fight getting the next title shot against Alexander Volkanovski. So this is a massive fight. I'm super excited for it. So if you look at the tail of the tape of this fight, Calvin Kattar is currently ranked number 4. Josh Emmett is ranked number 7 in the UFC official rankings. Kattar is 34. Emmett is 37. Kattar is 5'11". Emmett is 5'6". Kattar has a 72-inch reach and Emmett has a 70-inch reach. So a massive height advantage, 5-inch height advantage for Calvin Kattar. But even though he has a massive height advantage, only a 2-inch reach advantage for Calvin Kattar. Now, if you look at Calvin Kattar's resume, and he's been in the UFC for a while, his last fight was against Giga Chikadze in January of this year, and I actually picked against him in this fight. I just thought Giga Chikadze was the superior kickboxer, but he absolutely drowned at Giga with pressure and just lit him up on the feet. Giga just could not handle the pressure and volume of Calvin Kattar. Giga looked good in the early first round. He slipped. Calvin Kattar got him down, took his back, controlled him on the ground for that round, and that's when Giga was most dangerous, and it was a quality win for Calvin Kattar. A lot of people, myself included, were counting him out in that fight. The fight before that, he had a long time off. He sat out a year before that because he fought Max Holloway January of 2021. And this was a fight that I honestly think may have taken years off his life. It's a fight that I thought it should have been stopped by the refs at some point in time. It's a fight that I thought should have been stopped by Calvin Kattar's corner at some point in time. I'm glad he took a long time off, came back and looked better than ever. But Max Holloway put a hellacious beating on him in this fight. And it was just one of those fights where, Max Holloway just pressing forward. Calvin Kattar could not keep up with the pace, and Max was just piecing him up on the feet. There was multiple times throughout this fight that I thought it could have been stopped. TKO, standing TKO. But for whatever reason, the ref let it go on. And Calvin Kattar showed his durability in this fight as well as his stamina, because he actually didn't look half bad in the 5th round after Max Holloway beat him up for 4 straight rounds. I mean, Max still won all 5 rounds if my memory is correct. But still, Kattar has great cardio. Before that, he has a decision win over Dan Ige. Before that, back at UFC 249 in May of 2020, he has a win over Jeremy Stephens. That beautiful standing elbow that he landed was absolutely brutal. 2nd round win. And then also, I wanted to talk about his fight against Zabit Magomedsharipov. Because this fight, while it was all the way back in November of 2019, a lot of people considered Zabit a future title contender. And I know Zabit's probably retired at this point in time. And he stepped in on short notice for this fight. And I honestly believe that had this fight been 5 rounds, I think that Calvin Kattar would have defeated Zabit. You look back at the fight, first 2 rounds were Zabit. Zabit's cardio has always been an issue. Calvin Kattar won that 3rd round, and the momentum was going his way. And I really believe had this been a 5-round fight, I think that Calvin Kattar would have been able to probably TKO Zabit in the 4th or 5th round, or bare minimum win the 4th and 5th round and win a decision. So moving over to Josh Emmett, you have Josh Emmett. His most recent fight was against Dan Ige back at UFC 269, December of 2021. In this fight, it was very, very close. Josh Emmett had been off for a while. He hadn't fought in a long time since then. And this was a fight that was back and forth. Josh Emmett was able to hurt Dan Ige early badly in the 1st round. But after that, it was just a very close competitive fight. I thought Josh Emmett took the 1st round considering he rocked Dan Ige. The 2nd round, I thought that Dan Ige definitely won the 2nd round. He hurt Josh Emmett on the feet. I think it was with a left hook. And then the 3rd round was very close. but I actually gave the edge to Dan Ige. I thought Dan Ige should have got the victory 29-28. I don't think it was a robbery, but even though Josh Emmett won via unanimous decision, this was a very close fight that could have went either way. The fight before that, he fought Shane Burgos. He won via unanimous decision, dropped him multiple times, was unable to finish Shane Burgos. Calvin Kattar actually has a TKO win over Shane Burgos. Before that, he beat Mirsad Bektik. He dropped him with a jab, followed up with some nasty ground and pound, was able to finish him on the ground. Before that, he fought Michael Johnson. He was losing the fight, most likely going to lose. It was the last 40 seconds of the fight. He landed a nasty right hand and put Michael Johnson to sleep. Before that, you're getting all the way back in February of 2018, he lost to Jeremy Stephens, finished by Jeremy Stephens. They have a lot of opponents in common, Josh Emmett and Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar has a win over Jeremy Stephens. Josh Emmett has a loss. They both fought Dan Ige. They both fought Shane Burgos. I'm sure there's probably other opponents in common. But that was Josh Emmett's last loss, was against Jeremy Stephens. And really, since then, he's been relatively inactive. He had one fight in 2018. He had 2 fights in 2019. And then he had 1 fight in 2020, 1 fight in 2021. Josh Emmett has been super inactive. And I really believe also with the age, he's 37 years old. And I know we see champions like Jan Blachowicz late in their career. We see champions like Glover Teixeira late in their career. But the lower the weight class is, the shorter the career longevity, in my opinion. So this is do or die for Josh Emmett in this fight. This could be his last chance at a run at the featherweight title. Also, if you look at Josh Emmett's pro MMA career as a whole, he has 19 pro MMA fights, 17 wins, and he has 6 by knockout, 2 by submission, and 9 by decision, which was actually shocking to me that Josh Emmett has more decision wins than he has knockout wins. If you look at Calvin Kattar, he has 23 wins in 28 fights, 11 by knockout, 2 by submission, 10 by decision. So Calvin Kattar actually has more wins by KO than Josh Emmett, which I thought was quite surprising. And when I look at this fight, I see a fight where Josh Emmett just waits around looking to land that one shot. I think Josh Emmett has had so much success over the course of his UFC career with the knockout shot, with landing that right hand. I think he counts on it a little bit too much. He doesn't throw a lot of variety of attack, and he's going to be looking in this fight to KO Calvin Kattar. Meanwhile, I think Calvin Kattar is going to be very careful early on. I think he's going to try to pump the jab. I think he's going to try to avoid the right hand of Josh Emmett by circling to the left. And I think as the fight goes on, he's going to start getting more aggressive, pressing Josh Emmett backwards and looking maybe for a late finish. And as far as an official prediction for this fight, I really think that Josh Emmett could KO Calvin Kattar, but I don't ever pick fights on somebody's punching power. That's called a puncher's chance. And Calvin Kattar, when you break down, methods to victory or potential paths to victory, Calvin Kattar just has more ways to win. I think Calvin Kattar can win by decision. I think Calvin Kattar can win by KO. I do not see Josh Emmett winning this fight by decision. If it goes to decision, I am very confident that Calvin Kattar wins. I don't really see either one of these guys submitting each other. Neither guy, between the two of them, they have 4 submissions in their entire MMA career. So my official prediction is going to be Calvin Kattar by 4th round KO. I think, or I'm going to say TKO. I think Calvin Kattar is going to catch him with an uppercut, drop him, and then look to finish him on the ground with some big ground and pound shots. They're both great fighters. You look at Josh Emmett, though. He loads up on a lot of shots. He has a decent jab, but he doesn't throw a lot of combinations. He's constantly squatting down, looking for the big overhand right. He has power in both his hands, but he's primarily looking for that big right hand. And I just don't think that's going to work against a guy like Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar's super defensively responsible. I know he got lit up by Max Holloway, but that's Max Holloway, one of the best in the world. And I just think Calvin Kattar is going to, as the fight goes on, he's going to get more aggressive, put more pressure on Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's power is going to be sapped a little bit. And I just think eventually Josh Emmett's going to duck down, looking for that massive right hand, get clipped with an uppercut, dropped, and then finished on the ground with ground and pound. Calvin Kattar's just a more technical striker here. I think he's just a little bit cleaner, a little bit tighter with all his strikes. He has a better variety of attack. Neither one of these guys particularly throw a lot of kicks, but Calvin Kattar definitely mixes in the head kicks, the body kicks, and the leg kicks a little bit more than Josh Emmett. Also, I think Calvin Kattar has the better footwork than Josh Emmett, and just Calvin Kattar has a history of going out there and drowning guys. When people start to get tired against Calvin Kattar, Giga Chikadze looked great in the first round. I know he got out grappled for the second half of that round. But when Calvin Kattar starts to sense you kind of getting a little bit tired, that's when he really starts to put it on you. And he has a great uppercut. And also, Calvin Kattar will start throwing standing elbows as if he's throwing punches. I mean, look what he did to Jeremy Stephens. Absolute brutal KO. He's done it multiple times, landing nasty standing elbows. And Calvin Kattar, I think, can clip Josh Emmett with a variety of attacks. Josh Emmett is so much shorter, 5 inches shorter than Calvin Kattar. I just think it's inevitable. I think this fight's going to start out very close. I think Calvin Kattar is going to respect the power of Josh Emmett. I think he's going to pick his shots. I think he's going to pump the jab. I think he's going to be switching stances. I think he's going to be circling to the left. And I think as the fight goes on and he starts to bust Josh Emmett up with that jab, with the hooks, I think Josh Emmett's going to start wearing down. I don't think Josh Emmett's ever been in a 5-round fight. Calvin Kattar has 5-round experience. And I think as the fight goes on, Josh Emmett's going to be a little bit more tired. Calvin Kattar's not going to respect the power as much coming back from Josh Emmett. And I think he's going to start throwing combinations. And that's another thing that Josh Emmett doesn't do very well. He does not throw a lot of combinations. Meanwhile, Calvin Kattar will walk you down throwing 4, 5, 6 punch combinations. I don't think he'll be doing that early. I think he'll be more selective with his shots early just because the worry of the power from Josh Emmett. But I think as the fight goes on, he's going to land a lot of shots and eventually clip Josh Emmett. And I really don't see, I know Josh Emmett is a very good wrestler, but he doesn't use his offensive wrestling very much. You know, he uses his wrestling defensively. He doesn't want anybody taking him down, but he's not a guy that's going to take you down, control you on the ground, and beat you up on the ground. He doesn't do it very often, and I think Calvin Kattar has good enough wrestling. He will be able to defend the takedowns of Josh Emmett. So maybe Josh Emmett will start shooting on takedowns maybe in that 3rd or 4th round when he starts to realize he doesn't have the edge on the feet, but I think eventually Calvin Kattar is going to put him down with an uppercut and finish him with ground and pound on the ground. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.